Sometimes the people that we care about, that we love, may be struggling mentally, and they might not be able to tell us how they are feeling. And it's up to us, the caregivers, the loved one, the co-workers, to be able sometimes to recognize these symptoms so that we can be able to help them when they are struggling. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of those symptoms that we can be able to see so that we can be able to support them. And my number one is emotional changes. One of the 5 signs and symptoms that somebody is struggling is a change in their emotions. So like number one, you might see persistent sadness, that this person, your coworker, your friend, your loved one, they're always bubbly, but then all of a sudden you start seeing that, oh, they're sad, they don't want to talk, they are withdrawing. They have their mood is up and down, mood swings. Sometimes, they're up, they're down, hopelessness, or even feeling so overwhelmed by things that were not even overwhelming them before. So always make sure that, don't take for granted, especially if this person, deals with mental challenges. Do not ignore those signs, because it could be a cry for help, but they might not even know how to ask for it. And number 2 is behavior changes. And some of the behavior changes that you might be able to see that they are struggling, it could be, loss of interest in activities that they were doing. Maybe somebody was going to the gym all the time, like every Wednesday they're going to the gym, but all of a sudden it's, they don't even care about going to the gym all the time. They were so healthy, they were eating healthy, they love to eat this healthy food, but then all of a sudden you just realize, they don't care, they're eating all the junk, they're ordering out, and it's just like, that could be a symptom, because somebody was so healthy, but then all of a sudden it's like something is not adding up, and even their decision making, the way they're making decisions, it's very irrational and it's unlike them. So just make sure that you're looking out for those symptoms, because that behavior changes, it also could be that somebody is struggling and they don't even want to let you know. And one of the other behavior that I can add there is you just notice that somebody usually drink occasionally, but then all of a sudden, they're drinking 5 to 6, bottles of beer or something, or they're even starting to use substance. So just watch out, because those could be the signs that somebody is struggling and it's just a cry for help. And my number 3 is physical symptoms. Physical symptoms like, exhaustion, they're always feeling tired, they're not even sleeping, or they're sleeping more than the usual, they're up all night, and then they're also telling you that they're tired, they're used to love to eat, and all of a sudden they're saying, they have a change in appetite and significant weight gain. You can also notice, significant weight loss because they're not eating. So just make sure those little things that you're keeping an eye on somebody, because these signs are cry for help, and you could be able to save somebody. My number 4 is social withdrawal. Somebody who is in trouble and somebody who is struggling, and them, they were this bubbly person, as I said, and then all of a sudden they don't want to do the things that they wanted to do. They don't want to go to some activities that they were, like let's say there was a birthday party, you invite them, and they're always coming for a birthday party, and all of a sudden it's like they don't want to see you, they're not returning your call, you're texting them, they're not texting you back. Maybe they even start missing work, or even calling out more than usual, couple days a week, couple times a month. They don't feel anything that they were interested in, they've already lost, all those things. So just watch out for those things, because it could be a cry for help that somebody is looking for. It could be a sign that somebody is struggling and somebody is going down. And my number 5 is listening for the verbal cues. And a lot of times you can tell when somebody is struggling, because their verbal cues could be like they're talking about how overwhelmed they are. They could be talking, like things and saying things like, this world would be better without me. And they could also be talking about, I'm very tired, I'm tired of these things. And sometimes, we can assume like, that's the way we talk, like, especially when somebody's talking about, I'm tired. And it's always good to ask, what do you mean that you're tired? Is it because of the job, or what is it that you mean that you're tired? So those verbal cues can be very, very, can be a warning sign that, what, somebody is struggling. Because the other thing that I've noticed, somebody can also be saying that, I feel like I'm always a burden, such things. So just watch out for those things. And in conclusion, when somebody is looking for these things sometimes, and we don't even know what to do, just make sure that you are asking the right questions. If you've noticed that somebody is not returning your messages, they're not returning your text messages, just make sure that you're asking, what's going on? I've noticed that lately that you're not returning my text messages. Or if somebody is not, let's say like it's a coworker, and you were going to break together, or you were going to coffee together, and all of a sudden they're like, I don't want to go for coffee today, or it's break time. You used to eat together and they don't feel like eating with you guys. So talk to them and say, I've noticed that, lately that you don't want to eat lunch with us. Is everything okay? And always, always, always make sure that you're creating that safe space so that they don't feel like they're being judged. But when you create that safe space for them, they'll be able to open up and tell you what's going on. And if you also notice, like, let's say it's the weight gain or something, or they're not eating, you can also ask them, what's going on? I've noticed that, you're not eating as much as you used to. Or when they're talking about, they feel like a burden. Clarify. Don't just let them say that, I feel like a burden. Just ask them, what do you mean by you saying that you feel like you're a burden? Because when we clarify, then they are finding a safe space, and then they'll be able to open up and they'll be able to talk to us instead of like assuming all these things. Because sometimes when we assume these things, they feel like, okay, I told somebody that I wasn't feeling good. I told somebody that I was a burden. I told somebody like I was sick of life, but they didn't care. They didn't seem to care. It was just like another casual talk. So just make sure that, you're asking questions when they are expressing, or when you notice some of these things, that you are asking questions and clarifying questions to ask them, what is it that they mean by that? And with that, we can be able to save our life. We can be able to help them catch themselves just before they go down. Because some of these symptoms, when they start to happen, it's sometimes it's a symptom that somebody is about to go down. And so if we can be able to recognize them before they go down, we can be able to save a life, and we can also be able to save them the headache of going through hospitalization and all that. And also we can be able to send them, even ask them, when they talk about some of these things, we can also, if they have a therapist, if maybe they've not even been, actually that's another thing, that if they are on medication, that you realize that they're not taking their medications, and sometimes they say, oh, these medications don't work, and yet they have been taking them all these times. So that could be a signs and symptoms that that they are feeling like they're giving up. So just be proactive, and just don't shy away to ask somebody if they're okay, or to talk about the symptoms that you're noticing. And that's some of the symptoms that I'm gonna cover today. Let me know, what are some of the other symptoms have you noticed, with somebody that you care about, or a friend, a coworker? Let me know in the comment, and don't forget to like, to share, and even to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video.